There's Saga. She's getting ready for the anti-fouling with the Hempel Silic One. All of it is here. All the paint. We have the conversion primer. We have the tie coat. And we have the Silic One over there. So it's a 3-day process. So watch this space, yeah? Hi crew, Skipper Chris here. Live from Tórshavn in the Faroe Islands, where we just arrived. Today we're going to talk about anti-fouling. Saga was in the shed over the winter, and we did a lot of TLCs, upgrades and so on. And one of the things we did was we applied a new anti-foul, a new type of anti-foul on Saga. To give you a bit of background. We've been using Hempel hard racing for many years. We're very happy with that. But the problem with hard anti-foul is that every year you have to take the boat out and sand it and then recoat it. So I contacted Hempel in the UK, and they told me that they have a new product. It's called Silic One. It's a non-biocide anti-foul, and also to apply it, which really appealed to me, was no sanding would be required. We can actually apply it straight onto our old anti-foul if the anti-foul was in a good condition. And with this new anti-foul, which is silicone based, then only you have to do every second year you have to apply 1 coat of Silic One. So let's have a look at the costing Silic One versus the traditional hard anti-foul. I made a little diagram here, and we can see that the Silic One, the material, I'm just looking at the material cost. You can see that the material cost, the initial cost, is much higher. It's nearly 3 times the cost of a traditional anti-foul. But going ahead, you can see that already after the 3rd year of using Silic One, we are well ahead in the price, in the saving. And I'm only looking here on the material cost. So after 3 years, the material cost, saving in material cost is 400 euros. If you start looking at the time we had to spend on sanding and then of course lift out cost, then the saving is much more. The good thing about Silic One is that only every second year you just have to lift it out, power wash it, and then if there is any damages, repair those, which are quite easy, and then apply 1 more coat of Silic One. So the Silic One system, when you first look at it, it can be a bit intimidating, because it's a 3-stage application with very strict timings between applying each coat or each stage. So before you start anything, please download and read the data sheets. It's very important that you are well aware of the pot life of the paint. That means when you open a can of paint, how long time it takes before you cannot use it anymore. And then also the intervals of time between the different stages of the application, which are very dependent on your environment. That means temperature, wind and sun and so on. So the system is a 3-stage application. It's actually an easy do-it-yourself system. The first step is the conversion primer. So if you have an old anti-foul which is in a good condition, it can be soft or it can be hard, then you can apply the conversion primer directly onto the old anti-foul with no sanding. So already a good benefit there. Excuse me. After the conversion primer, you apply a tie coat. A tie coat is the bond between the conversion primer and the Silic One, which is a silicone-based paint. After the tie coat, you apply 2 coats of Silic One as per the time interval mentioned in the data sheets. So let's have a look at the benefits of the Silic One as per Hempel, as per the supplier. So of course we should have less or no growth on the silicon-based surface. It's very smooth surface, and also that should give us increased speeds. I don't know yet. We will have to see, but I did feel that we had a very fast passage to Faroe Islands, so that might be right there. I don't know if it's going to be 1 knot, but that'll be nice. And then of course, if you are motoring, then smooth surface will also give you fuel saving. So again, I want to emphasize that it's very important that you follow the guidelines of the timings set in the datasheet, especially the timing between application of the tie coat and the first coat of the Silic One. In our case, we had 10 degrees temperature in the shed, and I put out the data sheet here, and you can see that we can apply the Silic One, the first coat of Silic One, after 16 hours and maximum 48 hours. Of course, there's a lot of things that can affect these timings. There could be you have a wind, or you have sun, and so on. Also the humidity of the air. So it's better when you have the timing of 16 to 48 hours that you apply at the earliest time. That means after 16 hours. For the second coat of the Silic One, it's not so important with the timings. Of course, you have to wait the 16 hours, but you can apply after the 1 day or 2 days. Is no problem. What is also mentioned in the data sheet for the Silic One is the time of the launch, that you have to wait a minimum 20 hours at 20 degrees before you can launch your boat. But also what it says is that the Silic One is fully cured after 2 to 3 days, depending on temperature. So if you have time, then wait and until the Silic One is fully cured before you launch. Okay, so again, read the data sheet and follow the guidelines. Okay, so we finished. We finished the primer, the conversion primer. It took us about 2 hours to apply that. 2 people working with the brushes, and 1 guy doing the mixing and chatting. Key learnings: always keep your brush wet, and try to finish 1 section at a time. That means don't go back, because the conversion primer is quite, I wouldn't say call it aggressive, but it's quite potent. So if you go back, it the brush takes off the conversion primer and the anti-foul. So when you do it, it also looks like it's not really covering like that, but that's how it's supposed to look. As you see, there's a bit blue patches because our anti-foul was blue. Yes, so definitely you need people to do this. 1 to mix and 2 to apply, and then it takes about 2 hours to do a boat like this, which is 50 square meters of anti-foul area. Another thing is, if your boat is blue like mine, don't use blue masking tape, because it's difficult to see where we have to paint. So okay, so here we are, day 2. So we just finished applying the first coat of Silic One, the blue one here. It took us about 2 hours, 2 people. It went on, it was a lot more tough to put on. It was like the viscosity was a lot lower, so it was a bit harder work than the tie coat. And we used 7.5 liters of Silic One, which is quite a lot. But tomorrow we should use a lot less. We have only about 3 liters left, so we should use. But tomorrow is just like a touch-up, so the paint should go on much easier. And also, instead of today, it was small areas we did. Tomorrow we can do bigger areas with the crisscross, and it should go on. We're just basically just building up a little bit more thickness and then filling in any holidays that we have. So we're in the sling now and out of the cradle, and we have repaired the cradle pad. You can barely see it. It was quite easy to do. First a little bit of primer, then tie coat, and then the Silic One. Beautiful blue, and it's very slippery. That's the idea about it. So we have to put a I think they call it a gutter line, I'm not sure. It's very tight, so that's holding the slings in place, otherwise the slings might slide off. You can have a look here, it has slid a little bit. Here you can see there's a little bit of damage on the anti-foul there, but not much. Quite exciting. We set off in March 2024 across the Irish Sea, and will be cruising the next 9 months in the Faroe Islands and around Norway. At the end of the year we will lift out in Scotland and will post an update on the performance and state of the Silic One anti-foul.